It's the Trevor Kirczenow podcast featuring your Liberal candidate for Provencher, Trevor Kirczenow.
Hi, everybody. Oh my goodness, the news has been moving really quickly this week. Well, not even a whole week, just the last couple of days. A few days ago, we woke up to the news about that Signal chat in the U.S.
Signalgate.
They added a journalist by accident to their chat about U.S. war plans. So that was incredible to read out about, and I think made everyone think a lot about security, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
National security issues in Canada and in the U.S. But meanwhile, Pierre Poilievre does not want to get his security clearance.
That seems Canada. To be a big issue now. Like, so what is it about a security clearance? Why should somebody have a security clearance that's in his position now?
This was something that was offered to him quite a while ago, so that sensitive information could be shared with him as the leader of his party. And I mean, we don't know that information, so it's hard to say a lot more than that.
Well, we do know that it had to do with claims that there was election interference, foreign election interference, right? And I think Elizabeth May was pretty direct about it, right? She was like, we should all get this information so we as parliamentarians know that there are parliamentarians who have been influenced by foreign powers.
Yeah, that the party leaders should know who in their own party is coming up against these issues.
Well, okay, so Pierre Poilievre has said quite specifically, like, this would hinder his ability to...
Right. He keeps refusing to get his security clearance, and this week he was also just telling outright lies about how security clearances work. He said on March 25th that since he's already been a cabinet minister, he's already been cleared. And so it's no problem. He already has security clearance.
But he was cleared like 10 years ago.
Right. And when you do a little digging to find out, well, what does all that mean? You learn that security clearance is something that has to be ongoing, and a clearance from 10 years ago means nothing right now.
Right. Okay. So he's, to me, it always seems like a sort of a hear no evil, speak no evil. It's like, I don't want to know if there was, like, basically.
Right. And I wonder, like, why was he lying about what a security clearance is?
And how that he was cleared.
Is there any way that he could not understand that?
Well, he's not receiving the briefings.
Right. So, but, like, does he really not know what a security clearance is? Like, is he that incompetent, or is he on purpose trying to be misleading?
Right. So to connect the dots, is the kind of incompetence we're seeing in the U.S. something that he's kind of party to that kind of capital? Do you remember the time that he ran through the RCMP checks?
Not care. Sorry.
Well, he could. He ran through the RCMP check stop at the in Parliament Hill in 2010. He just was like, I don't want to stop, and he kept going. And then that's why he had to sign this agreement with the government that he was going to play by the rules.
Oh, wow. Wow, I didn't know about that one.
I dredged that one up.
Oh my gosh. Meanwhile...
I'll fact check that, and if it's true, I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Okay.
Meanwhile, in Alberta, we have Danielle Smith denying allegations that she is promoting foreign interference in our election in Canada.
But then wasn't she also saying, like, oh, I've been in contact with people down there?
Right. Yeah. And apparently suggesting that it would be much better for Poilievre if there was a pause on the tariffs. She didn't say, like, stop those tariffs, just stop. It was a pause.
Okay.
And she also said that Poilievre is very much in sync with Donald Trump.
Right. But then fast forward today when Carney and Trump actually had a phone call.
Right. Do we know a lot about what they said in their phone call?
I don't think we do. But Carney did say that Donald Trump did respect our sovereignty. And on his account, Trump referred to him as the Prime Minister.
Well, that's pretty decent.
Trevor's been out campaigning, so he didn't hear that story.
Been out driving around today. So, actually, that's a really low bar to be calling him the Prime Minister. And I just said, oh, that's decent.
Oh, that's decent. He called him the Prime Minister. Oh, yeah, that's
the point that we're at here. Wow. Yeah. Holy.
It is. Well, that takes us to what was life like on the campaign trail today?
Busy? Yeah, it was good. I drove on icy Highway 206 to St. Anne, and I went into the care home there, and I brought my violin with me, and I played some fiddle tunes for the residents there, and chatted with people.
How'd they like the fiddle tunes?
Things. They were singing along. It was really beautiful.
And you were playing French fiddle songs.
Some songs by Métis Manitoban fiddler. It was super fun. And then I asked if it would be okay with them if I played our national anthem, and there's a very enthusiastic response to that, and in the room I played and they sang, and it was lovely. It was really nice to do.
It's really something nice that musicians can do right now is to present our national anthem live music for people like that.
Yeah, I think it's a very good time to be playing the national anthem and playing our local music, sharing our local culture and celebrating it. Yeah.
Great. Anything else for today? You want to go through any news? I have a thing.
Okay.
Brookfield Asset Management. Somebody was sharing something very sinister about them, saying, that Brookfield.
Right. Yeah. That's something that the Conservatives have been really trying to focus on, is Mark Carney's role in guiding Brookfield's asset management. And in the Carillon, there was an editorial by Greg Vandermeulen about that as well, saying the Conservatives are really making hay with this. But Mark Carney says he's following the rules set out by Parliament. He has put his assets in a blind trust.
So he doesn't even know if he owns... Well, what is a blind trust?
That is a great question. Vandermeulen says in his editorial, that means he is not allowed to offer direction to those managing his assets, though he no doubt remains aware of what they are.
Well, how is there no doubt?
Well, when I read that part, I thought, I want to fact check that. I want to know more about this. What does this really mean? And I found a number of articles about it, including one in the Financial Post, that explains that a blind trust actually prevents the person from knowing anything more than the total shift in value.
Oh.
Yeah. So performance of individual investments within the blind trust, for example, would be concealed.
So should we be asking Greg to post a correction if he said there's no doubt that he does know about these things?
I mean, yeah, maybe that would be worth doing.
Yes.
It certainly made me wonder, and then I felt like I needed to go look it up, because to me that sentence was unclear.
He doesn't know what he holds, and the implication is that Brookfield is doing something sinister and unlawful. And what I was reading today was that, of course, they're operating within the bounds of the law.
Right.
And also, I saw that Pierre Poilievre owns shares in Brookfield himself through the ETFs he holds.
Right, because pretty much all Canadians who have ETFs would also have shares in Brookfield Asset Management, because it's a really big company.
They're a big manager of assets.
Right.
And they're Canadian.
There we go. And they are Canadian. Yeah. In terms of the accusations about tax avoidance, I think anyone who is leading a large company or firm like that, they're required to act in the best interest of that firm, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're all doing tax avoidance every time we claim a deduction. We're not. Right. We're not. Yeah. Well, that's different from tax evasion.
Right. It's not illegal to
avoid paying taxes lawfully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of those things where they're clearly trying to like parse it to the, nth degree to make it sound shifty. Or
it just feels to me like a big smear campaign.
Oh, yeah. What a surprise! Okay. All right, anything else in the news?
The other thing that came up for me today, which I feel like maybe mirrors Mark Carney's experience of this week a little bit, is that I was in St. Anne at a care home where everyone speaks French, and I've studied French quite a bit. I can understand some spoken French fairly well, but my French is rusty at this point.
Could you say I am the Liberal candidate for Provencher?
Je suis le candidat libéral pour Provencher.
Bravo!
I hope that was okay. I feel like I could definitely do with some more studying. But I do believe that that French needs to be protected in Provencher and in Canada. And I think that the Liberal Party is well positioned to do that because we believe in protecting language rights and minority rights and human rights in this country. Now, to talk about what happened with Mark Carney and his French this week, he declined to participate in the TVA debate. And again...
so that's a French language?
It's a Quebec network debate. And that debate has a fast, snappy, and confrontational style. Like, that's what it's known for.
Okay. Is it like Fox News, maybe, or...
Ooh, that, I mean, I don't know, like, where it leans in terms of the political spectrum, but it's a quick style. So I could understand Carney might feel like that's not going to be a great space for him.
Well, I mean, I think that might be the case, French. But what he said about why he wasn't participating was simply that he's not going to be charged thousands of dollars to participate in a survey, right. Or in
they
a forum. But also they didn't
charge a ton of money for it,
and they didn't invite all the leaders.
Right. There's that too. But what I wanted to point out further was this was out of the Carillon as well. They published a story about it that came from the Associated Press. And in that story, they quoted Poilievre saying, "The Liberals want to be re-elected for a fourth term, but their leader is too afraid to debate me in French," Poilievre said on social media Monday. "If Mark Carney is too fragile to debate other leaders, how can he stand up to Donald Trump?" But what that article frustratingly left out is that there actually will be a French debate with all the party leaders. Like, this makes it sound like he's refusing to debate in French at all, so and that's just not true.
Oh, the Carillon left that out?
Yeah. Well, it was in the Carillon online, but it came through from the Associated Press. I guess they pull stories from different places. I see. Okay. So that was the Associated Press story, and it just it left out that
there will be a French
detail.
language.
Yeah, the French language debate will be held on April 16th at 8 p.m. our time, and Carney will participate in that. So
and Carney is giving interviews to reporters and speaking French currently as well. So,
he is. Yeah.
By the way, what about the fact that there are not going to be any reporters on the Conservative plane? Like, Poilievre doesn't want reporters to...
That's a big departure from what they usually do. Like, that's a real tradition that that reporters are allowed to travel with the party leaders. It makes it easier for them to cover the political stories, and that way the journalists who are experts in covering politics, those are the ones who are able to go along and really cover and analyze those stories.
Right. I saw a meme today that showed Poilievre with his plane, and it says Pierre Poilievre on it in giant letters with no reporters, whereas you've got Mark Carney's plane that just has Air Canada's logo on it and is like filled with reporters. Like, who's going to be on that plane with him? Like with Poilievre, he's going to have all the bathrooms to himself.
Well, I'm sure he has a lot of staff. Like, I was really, really shocked at how many people must have looked at that campaign slogan that he had right in front of him this week. What was it exactly?
It was
tax the sales.
Axe the sales.
Tax on homes.
Tax on homes.
That's the way that it was printed, and I thought, he's surrounded by so many people. Like, the guy has staff, right?
Yeah, but
he has a lot of staff.
But he doesn't have artists.
That. I don't think he has artists. Yeah, we are artists. Ken has been doing beautiful graphic design for my campaign.
Now I gotta knock on wood.
It looks amazing.
Oh, thanks. Look for our ad in the Carillon on page 3.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah. And we are musicians. And I think the world
on a good day.
On a good day. The world needs artists, especially right now.
All right, so that's it for this podcast, and tune in for another exciting one when more news happens, if it does.
We've barely even caught up, actually. I think there will be more to talk about tomorrow morning.
So questions, concerns, if you want to send in something for us to address on a later podcast, info@trevor-liberal.ca.
And also, if you know of an event in your local community that you think I should be attending, I would love to hear about it.
Oh, and especially if you want a live version of O Canada, because he's got that down.
Yeah, it's true.